Before the season started, I honestly thought there was a real competition between Cody and Tyler. And that's kind of one thing that has me a little shaky about this whole season is we were not told who the starter was going to be up through the start of the season at the Colorado State game. Then after the game, we talked to Tyler Hansen. We find out, 3 weeks ago, yeah, I told him I was going to redshirt. So that's a little shaky to me. I mean, do you blame this season on Cody Hawkins? Absolutely not. If everyone was playing as hard as him and knew the playbook like he does, and was, busting it and putting up with as much as he puts up with, the way he handles everything, they'd be in a lot better shape. Cody Hawkins is not the issue here, but it's just an uncomfortable situation. And when you're on the hot seat that us media types have apparently created for Dan, I mean, that just adds a whole nother dynamic to it when your son's the quarterback, and quarterbacks usually get all of the blame or credit for the victory over Oklahoma. So I'm just curious to hear your take on. I know you asked Dan some pointed questions about his quarterback today. Just what's your take on that whole situation right now?
Yeah, you're right. Dan said today that his son gets, because Cody is his son gets double the lightning rod, so to speak. Any quarterback in any program gets all the glory and all the criticism when things are going bad, and when things are going bad here at Colorado, Cody gets double the criticism because a lot of people think that the only reason he's on the field is because he's the coach's son. I'm not totally convinced that is true. In fact, I'm not convinced at all that is true. I mean, there's been a couple of offensive coordinators here. I've talked to Darian Hagan about this issue. Darian's a straight shooter. Mark Helfrich is a straight shooter. Eric Keesaw is a straight shooter. And I believe Dan Hawkins is a straight shooter. I think Cody Hawkins has legitimately been the best option at quarterback for 2 seasons plus now. And I think that's still the case right now. And that's why he's on the field playing. But I also think there are some legitimate, serious questions you can ask about, why is Cody thrown 7 interceptions and 7 touchdown passes? And you ask Dan those questions, and Dan points to a lack of experience on the offensive line, a lack of experience at wide receiver, a lack of continuity in the offense. And I mean, to be frank, it's a lot of the same old excuses that we've been hearing for the past 3 years, excuses that we weren't supposed to hear this year, but that is the nature of the situation, and that's what they say when you ask them about it.
Let's talk glass half full here for a minute then. Before the season, obviously I was watching the CU Buffs practice, the CU Buffs every day. I kind of drank the Kool-Aid a little bit. I thought they were going to be a much better team, maybe a 7 or 8 win team this year. That was predicated on them taking care of some serious business during what is really a weak non-conference schedule for CU, which traditionally plays powerhouse non-conference teams. So with that being a 1-3 finish, my projections are out the window. I think the max I'm going to go on wins at this point would be 5 road wins over K-State and Iowa State, possibly a Texas A&M win, and then maybe you upset one of the 3 big North teams at home. But in your opinion, is there a scenario where they could go to a bowl and maybe salvage this season somehow?
There is a scenario. It's a long shot, if you ask me, but I would agree that you would have to beat Kansas State and Iowa State on the road. CU hasn't won on the road since 2007, so both of those are tall orders. Then you have to beat Texas A&M at home. You assume you're not going to beat either the Longhorns in Texas or Oklahoma State in Stillwater. And then it comes down to really those 3 Big 12 North games at home. And you have to win at least 2 of the 3 against Kansas, Missouri, and Nebraska. And that would give you 6 wins. You'd finish 6-6, and maybe you go to the Texas Bowl or the Independence Bowl.
Now, I don't envy you covering this, what I believe will be a 30 or 40-point loss on deadline Saturday night, but you do get to go down to Austin and maybe have a cold one on Friday. Can you just talk about, for those CU fans planning on going down there, maybe they planned it years in advance, what the atmosphere is like there and how great it is to cover games down there?
Well, it's fun. I mean, you're not going to go to too many places around the country in terms of a college atmosphere and have more fun and see more intensity and see more people, frankly, on game day. There's more than 100,000 fans in the stands. And, you know, the night before, there's no place really in the Big 12 other than maybe Boulder that has nightlife and entertainment and dining options and just an overall atmosphere like 6th Street in Austin. It's a great place to be. There's live music. There's a lot of people out having fun. So you're right. I would say that Austin, Texas, and Boulder, Colorado, probably 1 and 2, depending on your perspective in terms of Big 12 road trips. So we've come to the moment here, Ryan. You're in Neil Welk's seat, and I don't know if you're aware of this, but sitting in that seat apparently means you're governmentally mandated to pick the Buffs. So what's it going to be this week?
I like the Buffs this week. Buffs 10, Texas 52.
All right. Well, there you go. At least you picked them first.
And, you know, you never know. I covered CU basketball game down there a couple of years ago. I get to go again this winter. And CU had that game won. They choked it away. So you never know down there. I mean, that's why they play the games. Stanford beat USC a couple years ago. I don't see it happening, but, you know, I'd be happy to come on here and eat crow if CU Buffaloes beat Texas.
Yeah, I don't see it happening either. I think it'll be a little bit closer. Maybe I'll go with 41-16. Few Eric Goodman field goals. He gets off the schneid this week.
Well, you did pick the Buffs to beat the Pokes, and also had that score in West Virginia almost dead on.
Well, hey, every now and then I get something right.
All right.